And somehow I convinced her to do the worst mistake of her life by giving me her card. And as you already know about me,
I will pick up a phone and use it every minute
of every day.
Hello, my friend. I'm Dana. This is Words That Move Me. I am stoked that you're here because my guest today is fascinating to me. She's one of my newest friends. She's becoming a fast friend. I'm very fond of this person. And she's a non-dancer, non-choreographer. And I love getting to see the overlap between creative fields. My guest today, Rotem Alima, which I am really practicing saying her name. Rotem. It's spelled Rotem Alima, if you're listening and you're a visual person. And she is a TV and film producer, an Academy Award winning TV and film producer. She's also on Forbes' 30 Under 30 list. She is a fascinating human being, a very good friend, and a fantastic dog mom to Libby the dachshund. And that is an important piece of information in how we came to meet each other. This conversation is fascinating. It's great. How many times can I say fascinating in one introduction? I don't know. We'll throw one more in just for fun. Fascination Station. We're going to get to the conversation, but first we're doing a win. And this one is important, not important, but kind of a mark in my professional life. I'm working on a scene in my acting class right now where I have to throw up. And I am actively using like throw up potion in my mouth to throw up in a scene. And you guys, I'm becoming a person who can act like I'm throwing up. And that is my win this week. When did I ever think that that was going to be something I needed to know how to do? I'll tell you when. Never. I never, ever thought that I would need to know how to do that or want to know how to do that. And I'm becoming a person who now can throw up for the stage and the screen. So add that to special skills. That's my win. Now you go. What's going well in your world? What special skills are you adding to the resume? My dog just burped. Congratulations, my friend. I'm so glad that you're winning. I am proud of you and all of your new skills. All right, shall we do this? Rotem Alima. Enjoy. Why? Shoulder rolls. Free movement. Oh, man. Okay, I'm excited. This is exciting. Rotem. Did I say it better?
You're getting there.
Rotem.
Yeah.
Rotem Alima is my guest today, and I'm stoked because this is, first of all, you're the first Academy Award winner that I've had on the podcast, NBD, no big deal. But you're also one of my newest friends and a person that I'm very grateful for in my life. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Words That Move Me. Yes.
Thank you for having me. Thank
pleasure.
you for being my friend.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being the new sparkling light in my life. I am every day. I'm looking forward to our daily date.
Okay.
That's our.
Do you want to talk about how we met really fast? Like, let the people know, how did this become a thing?
Can I say the full? Can I tell the full story?
Yeah.
Okay. So, a few years ago, in 2014, I came to LA for the first time. 3 days before I came to LA, I went to a Justin Timberlake show with my friends. And all we talked about...
Wait, where was this show?
Tel Aviv. Okay,
that's important.
Right. We were so excited that our childhood crush was performing in Tel Aviv, and we went. And the entire show, we were focusing on three things. Two things. One was the American embassy that lost my passport, and we were all sure that I'm not going to come to LA. I'm not going to make my dream of moving here come true. And the other thing was this girl on stage that was dancing very close to Justin Timberlake. And we were so jealous.
So you're jealous of this woman on stage, number one. You're upset with the embassy, number two. Riz, who's this person that we have here? So, okay, keep going because this is important.
Yes. And then the day after, luckily, the Secretary of State of Israel called the ambassador, made the embassy look for my passport because I came here for the Oscars. And I came to LA, I got off LAX, and I said, I am home. I'm home. This is my place. I am moving here. That was for sure. Fast forward 9 years, I live in LA. I work as a producer in LA, and I have the most beautiful, loving dog in the world. And my dog
tied for first.
My dog just stopped and loved making new friends. So she saw this beautiful girl walking the street, and she was like, I don't know her. Who's
the new girl?
Who's the new girl? Want to be my friend? And of course, both of us.
The new girl was attached to this.
To the most friendly person. So we started talking. And for a few days, we were like walking around, talking, not talking at all of what we do for a living or anything like that.
I had no idea. I was just mostly asking, like, how did you get yours to pee outside? That was my biggest concern.
That was
that was
so
the subject of conversation.
This conversation is behind us.
Yes, thank God.
The amount of poop texting we got.
A lot of potty texting. We talked a lot about that.
A lot.
Actually, I would like to apologize. Our first episode back in the video format was not that many episodes ago, and I talk extensively about this one and our journey towards potty outside.
Oh wow!
So it was a lot of that talk. We can be done with that conversation now. Okay.
And then one day you mentioned that you are dancing with Justin Timberlake. I was like, wait, were you that girl on that show? Yes, that was you.
Yes, that was me.
Yeah. So 9 years later, you are
living down the street from you.
Living down the street, the person I spend most of my time with, and I see the most because we go on 3 walks a day.
Minimum 3 walks a day.
Minimum. And then we have our night date.
Yes.
So with our dogs playing around.
Yes. And every time we meet, I'm like, where are the cameras? Where is the microphone? I should be rolling on this. Your story is fascinating. The way that you decided to get involved in film, the way that you decided you would live in LA, the amount of conviction and belief you have in your path before it happens is something that is electrifying to me. And I think a lot of people in our field hope or wait for that kind of clarity. But I don't know if you're possessed by it, if somebody gave you permission to have it, or if it's just part of your nature to believe in yourself, or if you worked your way towards that. I don't know what it is, but it's magnetic. It is very attractive. And I think there's a lot to be gained from having that type of certainty and momentum. Not to say that you have to have it. I know a lot of people who achieve success, although maybe not Academy Awards, by floating or flowing or not, not necessarily ever having, I'm made for this, I have to live in it, I must do the thing. Like some of us do. I know a lot of people who kind of flow and are where they are and show up and end up and things like that. You're not that type. You're very much make it happen, see it, feel it, and then, sometimes by white knuckle grip, you make it happen. Or you are... We're in a phase. It's a licking phase. I can't explain it. Okay, so that's how we came to meet on the outdoor dog walk day.
Yeah.
Up the street here in Sherman Oaks. I just happened to live next to a fascinating woman. Very inspiring, your story. I'm very excited to share. Before we do, outside of your how we came to meet story, I would like for you to introduce yourself. Whatever you would like these fine people to know about you. How would you introduce yourself?
So I am Rotem Alima. I'm the youngest of 6 kids.
Yes.
I grew up in Kadima, which is a small town in the countryside of Israel, the furthest thing you can imagine from LA. When I grew up, it was very agricultural. we were literally, it's so small that we were literally 15 kids in my entire grade. 1-5. That's how
insane.
small it was. And I was this weirdo kid, the ugly duckling, that kept saying, I'm going to be a producer. I'm going to work in Hollywood and live in Malibu. And didn't even
At
know.
what age is this? At what age is it that you thought that?
Since I was 12.
Wow.
And I didn't know that Malibu and Hollywood are in the same place called LA even. But I was like, I was a dreamer, you know. When I watch NSYNC's videos on MTV, I was like, I want to be there. I want to do that. I was literally daydreaming all the time of like what I'm going to do, the life I'm going to build for myself. And being the youngest of 6 is a blessing. It's a blessing and a curse. But the blessing of that is that your parents basically so tired that they're not really supervising you. You know,
They're not going to say no. Correct your dreams, correct your vision. Let's work on this vision that you have.
Yeah,
they're just like, all right, kid, go for it. Yeah,
exactly. And they also they never told me, oh, you can't do that, or this is dangerous, or like.
You had a lot of freedom.
I had a lot of freedom. I basically, I had a lot of imaginations. I was living in my own bubble, and I was really, manifesting. I didn't know that word back then, but I was manifesting the world I want to live in. And I learned that I can create my own reality, and I can create everything I want to create. I would make my costumes for Purim, which is the Jewish Halloween. Mm-hmm. And I would literally create things that I want to do. And I study film at my high school, which was a bit bigger. We were 100 kids in my entire grade.
A little bit bigger, yeah.
And I did this movie. It was a documentary, very challenging one. And I was from
Is this
day
the one about Gaza?
Yeah. It was about Gaza. And I would say to everyone, this is going to a film festival. This is going to be screened at the Cinematheque in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. I don't care. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And my crew members hated me because I made them work so hard. We shot a few times in Jerusalem, a few times in Tel Aviv. We went to Gaza twice.
There's war happening.
There was war. There was missiles flying over our heads, and we went there. And I forced my DP to go and shoot it instead of running from it. I was crazy,
I'm hearing that. I'm picking up on that.
Yeah, and one time when we had a day planned to go to the Gaza Strip to shoot, and he was trying to get away with it, so he didn't pick up the equipment from the school. And I literally called him in the morning and said, I don't care. You're going to find equipment right now. And if you're not calling me in 10 minutes saying, okay, I found one, I'm coming to your home and I'm going to take you from your here and make you dress up and come with me because this is happening.
So there are worlds in which that's what it means to be a producer.
Yes.
Sorry, not to back up, but you were saying that when you were 12 years old, you were saying, I want to be a producer. I'm going to be a producer. I am 30 something and I still get kind of foggy on what exactly is a producer because there's so many different types. And from project to project, the responsibilities of a producer are very, very different. But on occasion, it is a producer's job to call someone and say, I will rip you from your bed, clothe you, and get you on the set today.
Yes.
You did what it took, even in high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
And then what happened to that documentary? Tell me. Even though I already know. Spoiler alert.
So this documentary did get to a film festival and was screened at the Cinematheque in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. And that's also a story I didn't tell you. But the teacher we had a few teachers, and the one that was supposed to send it never sent it. And the other teacher that knew, because I was talking about it every day, all day long. That's all I cared about. When my friends were partying, I was coming to school in the middle of the night to edit. And when my friends were talking about boys, I would talk about, oh, which songs should we put in the movie? So she called me and said, hey, I know how important that is to you. Just so you know, the school didn't send your movie. I was like, what? I was really upset. I called the other teacher and she was like, no, I just don't think it's good enough. I was like, okay. So I got the address of the office that was running the festival.
Yeah.
And I would never forget. It was Thursday evening and I needed to convert the files to the files that they need.
Oh, I know this hustle. Carry on.
And Friday in Israel is half a day. Everyone stops work. Like the offices doesn't work, but the people who does work half a day, and then that's it. And Saturday is a day off. So I had to figure out a way to give it to them by Friday morning, because on Sunday morning they were supposed to meet and get the final decision of all the movies.
Uh-huh.
So that was a hustle the entire night. I was working to make it happen. And I did. And I sent it. And I remember I was 18 and it cost so much money to send it via like express mail.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't care because I really wanted it. I sent it via express mail. And the entire weekend I was sitting and I was holding my breath and praying to get in. And then Sunday, I'm calling them. Oh, no, sorry, I didn't call. I got a text at Sunday at 5 p.m. saying your package was not delivered. And I was upset. I started crying like crazy. And my cousin was there, luckily. And she said, who are you? I don't know you. I was like, what? She was like, why are you crying? That's not the Rotem I know. The Rotem I know would drive to Jerusalem tomorrow morning, knock on their door with a copy of the movie. What are you doing? Why are you sitting here crying? And I was like, yes, you're right.
Thank you for that reminder of who I am.
Yes. So the day after, I called them because like driving to Jerusalem is a hustle. It's not like in LA that you'll drive to Santa Monica and that's fine. Like, it's a hustle to get to Jerusalem.
Listen, I think it's a hustle to get to Santa Monica. So shit, this must be a real journey.
Yeah, that was a real journey. So I called them instead of driving, and I called and I called, and no one picked up. And I called and I called and I called and I called and I called, and I think like it was at least 40 minutes of me calling nonstop. Someone picked up the phone.
You better believe it.
Yes. And she was like, okay, well, what happened was that the day before we didn't close the list because we had a problem with one of the movies. We are going to watch our final like favorites and choose one of them. I didn't see your package, but if I can find it, I promise you we're going to watch it. I was like, okay, thank you.
Did you have tracking? Did you have delivery confirmed on the package?
Yeah, I did.
So you knew it was there.
I knew it was
so
there, but she didn't. She didn't.
This story, I'm sweating. I hate it. Woof.
But she couldn't find it. And what happened was, the reason no one answered the phone is because the secretary, the girl at the front desk was just not at her desk. And the person who answered the phone was the head of the committee that was choosing the movies. She was just tired of hearing the phone ringing and ringing and ringing and no one picks up. So she actually kept her word and she looked around and she found my package. And I called again. She said, Autumn, we're going to watch your movie.
Chill out, girl.
Please stop calling us. We're going to watch your movie. And they did. And the movie got in, and it was in the film festival, and it was screened in the Cinematheque in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, and it was really fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's how that was your first step into filmmaking,
Yes.
and you didn't stop. From that point on, can you talk a little bit about your decision to go to film school?
Yeah.
Like, because that was also involved phone call after phone call after phone call and persistence. I truly... for anybody listening that thinks they're doing too much, you need to listen to this story. It's important because the whole idea of too much is so relative. It's so relative. And the question is, what price will you pay to have the thing that you want? Like, will you annoy someone to have the thing you want? Will you call on the phone for 40 minutes to have the thing you want? Will you have someone thinking that maybe you're too much in order to have the thing that you want? Because it seems like, for me, you keep getting the thing that you want, but only after absolute persistence. No one ever was like, on first call, oh, hey, yeah, please come in, have this spot at our prestigious film school. And oh, yes, please, also here, we're going to accept your film, like, hands down, first round, no matter what. Like, every step of this journey for you required persistence.
All my life required persistence. I came from a place that I had no connections. Mm-hmm. The kids that went to school with me, a lot of them are sending me messages saying, hey, we're so sorry we made fun of you all those years. We're so proud of you for making your dreams come true. And they're genuinely sorry because they were making fun of me all the time. Like, when I said I was the ugly duckling, I was the ugly duckling. I didn't fit in. I was, everyone thought I'm crazy. Everyone thought that, who are you? What are you talking about? What are those things you're saying? Like
Malibu, Hollywood, producing,
like, producer, what? Like, they thought I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Film school. So, I went to the army, went to travel.
Let's not graze over that, shall we? Israeli army, is it mandatory to serve? And how long?
It's mandatory for 2 years. However, I was in a combat unit, which is not mandatory for women. I chose to do that.
The fact that you chose the combat unit somehow does not surprise me at all.
Yes, I was a sergeant of operations, which meant...
AKA producer.
Exactly. I was producing military operations for combat units on the border. I was commanding the war room. I was the first
Commanding the what? War room?
War room.
Wow.
Yes. It was very challenging at 18 to do that.
And I'm just here trying to command this dog to pee and poop outside. This is fascinating.
And you're succeeding.
I am. I'm doing a great job.
You're doing an amazing job.
Thanks partially to your lead. I think you're a great teacher. In addition to being a great commander, you're very generous in your sharing of tips and tricks, which, if you are a person in need of doggy tips and tricks, we'll be sure to link to her Instagram. But okay, carry on. So quick stint in the Israeli army.
Yeah. So I did that. I traveled Australia and New Zealand for 6 months. I came back. I worked in an ad agency, and I was making a lot of money. I had a very comfortable life. I didn't come for money, and all of a sudden, I was making a lot of money. They were paying for my car. They were paying for my computer. They were paying for my phone. They were covering everything for me. I had the dream job of just staying in coffee shops, meeting clients, and enjoying life. So my first thought was, okay, I'll go to business school in a great school that is next to my office. I'll do what I can, and I'll keep my job. Mm-hmm. And I did that. And then right before the school year began, I went with my ex-boyfriend to Tel Aviv University to check the engineering school for him for next year, because this year was already done.
Case closed. Everybody's,
yes.
Yeah, signed up, submitted. Who signs up? What kind of words am I using? Carry on.
So when we got there, we entered the gate, and I start feeling in my body that this is the place I need to go.
The LA feeling, the same feeling you had when you got here.
Same feeling, but you know what? Even more extreme. I was shaking. I was like, I need to go to film school here. And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, you're going to business school. What? It's like, yeah, no, I'm telling you, that's what needs to happen. He's like, okay, you sure? Yes. Let's go. So we got in, and I was like, I'm here. We can start. I'm going to be the best producer who ever came out of this school.
You're welcome for my attendance here at the program that I'm not signed up for yet.
And they're like, well... No. I was like, what do you mean?
They're like, ma'am, enrollment?
Yeah, they're like, sorry. The year is closed. You can try again next year. And I said, no. I want to come this year. I'm ready. And she was like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And I was like, you don't understand. That's my life dream. Like, that's where I want to be. I feel it in my body. I'm going to be the best student you ever had. I just need you to give me a shot. And somehow I convinced her to do the worst mistake of her life by giving me her card. And as you already know about me,
I will pick up a phone and use it every minute
of every
day.
Well, I called and emailed every day at the same time. And she suggested, she was like, you know what? I checked the art school. They still have spots available. Let's
You
sign
should
you
go
up.
to art school.
Exactly. Go to art school. I'll promise you.
We'll transfer you.
We'll transfer you.
Of course.
I'll let you sign up to film courses and we'll transfer you on the second year. And I said, I am not doing plan Bs. I'm a plan A kind of person. So I want to go to film school. And after multiple conversations, one day she calls me and I pick up the phone, very excited. Sally, I was just about to call you. And she's like, I know. And then she asked if I'm available at this day, at this time. I said, no, but I'll make myself available. She's like, okay, the head of the school is willing to talk to you. Because I said, if the head of the school will talk to me and he says no to me, then I'll go your way and I'll go to art school. I promise. But I want to talk to him.
I love that setup.
Yeah. So she said, you'll come, you'll pitch yourself. If you say yes, you say yes. If you say no, I don't want you to ever call me again. You're going to sign up for art school and we are going to transfer you on second year. I know it's going to happen because I already know you. So let's do that. And I said, okay. And I came and I showed him my movie and I made this ridiculous, awful movie for him. And I pitched myself and I brought like articles about my movie and a letter of recommendation from one of the teachers I had in high school. And I literally begged.
Yeah.
And he liked my passion. I'm sure he laughed very hard about the stupid movie I made for him. But he decided to give me a chance.
Yeah.
And he gave me a chance. And I joined the film school. And the first year was very, very tough. And I was about to... So I had this teacher that used to tell me that I'm in the wrong place.
Any dancers co-sign on that experience? Anyone have a dance teacher that's like, you can't be a ballerina? Sorry. Not that I ever wanted to be, but I had several people telling me I can't. No, sorry, you can't.
Yeah.
So you had that. On what grounds? What did he say that made you not able to be a filmmaker?
Well, he thought I'm not talented enough. He thought I am not smart enough. He thought I grew up in this small town, that I was a small town girl, which is true.
And small town girls can't make movies.
Well, to be honest, not that I'm defending him, because I'm definitely not, but I did have lack of knowledge that other people that grew up in Tel Aviv, in more educated homes, in more sophisticated...
With more technology, with more resources, with more...
Resources, more knowledge about art.
Like exposure to things.
Exposure to things, you know. But I had my own perspective. And I had my own life experience. And I had my own, you know... Determination and things that I've been through, you know, in this small little town that I grew up in that they didn't have, you know. So I was different. Again, I was the ugly duckling that didn't fit in. After a year of hearing every week that I'm in the wrong place, I decided I'm giving up. I'm not trying.
Not going to please this guy, not going to...
I'm not, yeah. I just couldn't do this anymore. And between year 1 and year 2, there is a committee that you need to come and you need to present your movies and you need to pitch yourself and you need to talk about why you should be the person to go to the production department.
Which happens only in year 2?
Started at year 2.
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on doing that. But luckily for me, He wasn't a lazy man. So he climbed up the stairs and he stood above me. And he literally made fun of me. And
In class, in front
in
of
class,
everyone?
in front of everyone. And instead of, instead of like giving up and listen to him, I just saw the movie I'm going to make for them, which funny enough was about a dancer in a wheelchair. A dancer that want to dance and can't, and you don't understand why, like why she's not accurate with her movement and why she move weirdly, like you just don't understand. And then you see she's actually in a wheelchair, and then when you understand that, you're like, oh, got it. And then she started dancing very nicely and very like,
I think I understand the context. I think I really, really, really want to see this. Does this exist?
It is. It's not great, but I'll show you.
Fair. Hey, growth. This is year 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's standing over you, making fun of you. Meanwhile, you tune out, you go someplace creative, and you imagine this movie that you're going to make.
Yeah, I decided it's okay. If I'm on a wheelchair, if you tell me I'm on a wheelchair and I can't be a ballerina, I'll be another dancer. That's like, that was what I was thinking.
I hear you.
Maybe you're right. Maybe let's say everything you say is true. Fine, I'll find my way. You know.
Yeah.
So that was what I was trying to convey in this movie.
Love.
So I left class. I didn't have a crew because everyone was split to teams already, and I called my sisters and I said, "We have a production meeting. Cancel your plans." And we were sitting together. And
Being one of 6 really worked out for you in this moment.
Yes, it worked out for me in a lot of moments. I feel very grateful to have such a huge family and have people to rely on when I need. So I told them, I gave every one of them like a task. They helped me, and I literally did everything myself. I had one dancer, which was the actress, and I had a makeup artist, and my ex-boyfriend was running around making sandwiches and errands. And I shot it, I did the lighting, I directed it, I edited it, I did everything. And I wasn't happy with the editing, so I used a friend that was an editor and had a full-time job. So I would come to his place every night and would sit there until 4 a.m. and we would edit. And the day of my audition, my committee presence, we finished the movie at 6 a.m. I drove from Kfar Saba to
My God, my
Kadima.
heart. I know this hustle so bad. It always takes exactly as much time as you have.
Yeah.
There's no world in which you would have been done before 6 a.m.
No,
Oh
no
my God.
world. And then I drove to Kadima to my parents' house, ate a breakfast, took a shower, drove to Tel Aviv, came in front of those 5 people, literally put my heart and soul on the table, begged them for a chance, showed them my movies, showed them the movie I did for them. We need to do a portrait. I took a picture of myself. I'll show you that picture.
Oh, yes, please.
Wearing a dancer clothes, like fancy clothes, all black and white with red lipstick. And then I went to the farm, to the cow. How do you call it in English?
Pasture?
Where the cows lives, like...
Suburbs. From the suburbs. I would call it a pasture.
Okay.
A range.
It was...
Sure.
And I
Grass.
stood...
Out in the grass.
I stood in one line with those cows, all black and white, and they were all with the back to me, so it was all their asses, and then me posing like a model. And then I said, well, even though I look like everyone, I don't fit anywhere. And that's the reason also I had the red lipstick, because and I had a red flower in my hair. I was like, I can fit in. I just choose not to.
Ooh, that's a strong message, my friend. Ooh, that's a strong message.
Yeah. So I was there, and it went very well. And I thought that I got in.
Yeah.
And it was, I left with the feeling that that's easy. I'm in,
Yeah.
And then the result came.
Not in.
Not
Oh,
in.
shit.
I remember my ex was so surprised. Like, no, you don't know how to look. Go. And then he looked and he was like, oh, wow, I'm so sorry. And I was like, well, all my life, people made fun of me, told me I'm delusional, I'm crazy, you know. In school, they made up a song about me.
Sing it. You have to sing it.
No.
You have an Oscar, so.
I know. It's in Hebrew anyway, but it's called delusional. It's like, there is a song in Hebrew that's called delusional, so they just changed the words to fit me. And they would just sing it to me. So it's like, maybe it's true. Maybe everyone was right and I was wrong. I thought so much. Maybe, you know, I give up. I'm like, I gave my all. Now it's time for God to tell me if I'm on the right path or not.
Okay.
So I decided I'm not appealing. I'm not fighting anymore. I'm not convincing anyone.
You're not going to pick up the phone and call every day.
Begging. Done begging. I was so fed up. And instead, I booked a flight. I posted on Facebook, hey, I need to get the hell out of here. Who's joining me? I don't care where. My friend was like, me. And we just called, you know, one of those
like travel agent.
I was like, hey, book us something. That's our budget. Don't care where.
Wow.
She booked us a trip
I want to try that.
Greece.
I'm going to try that.
It was really fun.
Oh, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Woo.
She booked us a trip to Greece. We met at the airport.
I'm going to do that to Greece. I'm going to do that and I'm going to go. Carry on.
Let's go to Greece together.
Please.
And then Israel.
Please.
Yes.
You know I'm Greek.
I know. That's why I'm saying that.
Okay.
That's why I said Greek and Israel.
Deliberate. She listens. Also the quality of a great producer. Carry on. We're in Greece.
Yes. On my way to the airport, 2 a.m., I'm in the train. I get an email from this guy that was one of the people in the committee. And he's saying, I don't believe that you didn't get in. I went over the list of names. I didn't see your name. I couldn't believe that. And what is surprised me more is that you're not appealing, and you can't appeal anymore.
There was a time.
There was a timeline. Yeah, there was a time frame that you can appeal. You cannot appeal anymore. But if you would let me, I would love to appeal in your behalf. You will still need to be the person that comes and present your case of why, if you're ready to do that. But I am willing to, you know, to like put my feet down and say she should be here.
Yo, can I pause that really quick? Can I just pause and say, because I it's all that I can do to create parallels between your world and mine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nothing like that really exists other than a similar kind of thing in an audition scenario. You have to put yourself forward. You have to campaign for yourself. You have to pitch yourself. Every audition that you have is a pitch for you. But never can you appeal. Like if I don't get a job, it's not like there's a window of time where I can call in and be like, are you sure? Because I should have. So see me again and let me re-audition. Like that is not a thing that we can do. Even if somebody called, well, actually that's not true. If somebody called, like let's say I audition for Marguerite Derricks and she says no. And then Marty Kudelka calls her and is like, Marguerite, Dana really would be great for this job. There is a world maybe where she'd be like, okay, fine, I'll see her again, but she has to like sell it.
Yeah.
There is maybe a world where that would happen. But fascinating that just happened to you and you have to decide, yes, do it, or no, I'm truly out. I really won't. I really can't. I'm over this.
Yeah.
And you obviously decided to go for it.
I decided to go for it. You know, in most cases, in my case, it's also if you didn't get a job, you didn't get a job.
Right.
But the only reason I had this opportunity is because it was film school. And
okay.
Because
I see.
this really amazing man could see behind what they couldn't, right? And I read this email. I start crying. I start sobbing. Like I was all wet. Like people looked at me with mercy.
You're on the train or you're waiting for the train?
I'm on the train on my way.
Something about being in transit does unzip a very emotional piece of me. I will be in a full sob on an airplane or on a train or in an Uber. It is a place I come undone frequently.
Definitely. And I can tell you, it's not the first time it happens to me. I also got a notice that I was Forbes 30 under 30 when I was on the train.
Sorry, we're going to back up. That's Forbes 30 under 30. That's who we're talking to right now. Carry on. You got that while you were on a train? And you started crying?
And I actually started dancing.
Yes.
I love that too much. But yeah, I was crying like crazy. I came back to Israel after a week. I came to meet with the head of the school. That actually was the best thing that happened to me at this school, because it gave me the opportunity to sit with the head of the school and talk about my vision and my dreams and my work and what I believe in and my different perspective.
And this asshole teacher that you had year one?
I never told him about that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes, I never told him about that. But, I was just...
It's all framing, right? You weren't trying to take that moment with that story. Okay, carry on.
By that time, I just couldn't care about him. I couldn't care less about him. I had few minutes to say, you're making a mistake.
You have to choose your words wisely in that moment. Yeah.
So, he let me in. He was very impressed by me. He actually took me, he chose to really groom me and met with me so many times and went over with me every script I wrote, every movie I produced, every movie I directed. It was really on top of my things. And I was so grateful because it was like this father figure to me, he really cared.
He was invested.
He was so invested. And second year of the university, I got to a very prestige competition. I was top 5 student directors in Israel.
Nice.
Because for me, it was, I have to show him it was right.
That it wasn't for nothing.
It was not, he believed in me. And so my mission was make him happy. Make sure.
To like affirm his belief in you that what he saw, whatever potential he may have seen in you was not an illusion. It's the real thing.
It was the real thing.
Wow, that's interesting. That's a motivator. Okay.
Yeah. And third year of the university, I was already at the Berlinale Talent. And then I produced movies. In my graduate movie won the Israeli Academy Award for Best Short, and here the Oscars for Best Student Film.
Amazing.
And and then I started working in Israeli TV, and then I produced commercials, and then I worked with the previous president, Ubi Rivlin, and then and I remember, so I worked, after working on TV, I moved to work for one of the biggest production companies for commercials. And then when I decided it's time to, spread my wings and move, it was actually what made me decide that was, okay, I need to move to LA. And I said, okay, this is the time I'm going to move. So I need to do something. And I quit. And I was like, okay, I quit.
You quit your cush job, your easy life, your established reputation and network and all the things.
Yes. And
on a whim, on a feeling that was, I need to be in LA, which you had actually had since you were 12.
Right.
Okay. And something was like, now.
Yes. But what happened was I didn't realize like moving to LA was like a very challenging thing in terms of you need a visa. You need
the technical part, the tape.
And that takes forever. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. What am I doing now? Like, all I did all my life was producing. What am I going to do now? Like, I'm not going to wait at tables. That's what I do. I'm a producer. Okay, I'll start my own thing. So I started my own thing. And for the first 2 months.
Like a production company?
Like a production company. For the first 2 months, couldn't find any client. And I sent so many emails and messages on Facebook.
And phone calls.
And LinkedIn and phone calls.
Nothing.
I remember sitting in my bed and I was like, oh my God, what if I die? I'm going to starve. What's going to happen? And then one day I think it was late morning or early afternoon. And I was still in my bed. And I get a phone call from this guy. that apparently I was, by this point, I sent so many emails that I didn't know, and messages on Facebook that they didn't know. Like, I wasn't
who?
tracking. So
Yeah.
I sent this guy so many messages, apparently. And he called me, he's like, hey, so I have it was an ad agency. I got your many messages. And I need a producer for a Reebok commercial. Are you available? I was like, yeah, of course. It's like, okay, can you be at my office in an hour? Yeah, sure. I left my bed.
I'm
got
already
ready.
out and about.
Yeah.
Totally. I'll clear my afternoon.
Yeah. I'll clear my very busy schedule, change my clothes, went to meet him, produced Reebok, went well. And then clients start to come.
Yeah.
And I start to get like clients from the US coming to LA, to Israel to shoot. And since that moment, it took 2 years before I actually moved to LA because like I started getting bigger and bigger productions. I started getting TV shows. I was an EP on the Israeli SNL, Eretz Nehederet.
Cool.
I was like working with the president. So I was making a lot of money. I was very comfortable. I didn't need to prove anything to anyone ever again, you know? But I was miserable because every time I was like, okay, I'll get a bigger production. I'll be happy. I'll get more money.
False.
Yes.
Because your little 12-year-old self was like,
Not
that
the right
ain't it,
place.
kid. That ain't it.
And then I was producing this primetime TV show. It was very challenging. And I got an email about, so I was Forbes 30 under 30. That was the year that I got to the list. And they're like, hey, there is the summit in Boston. Are you coming? And I was like, yes. Yes. Cleared my schedule. I was like, I'm wrapping this TV show and I'm going on a plane the day after. And that's what I did. And I came to Boston. The summit was great. I traveled the US. I decided to take 2 months off and just travel because I was like, when I came to the Oscar, I was here for 1 week, didn't see anything about LA, knew I need to come back. I want to enjoy the US because I don't know when I'm going to come back. Little did I know. And then I came, I finished my trip in LA at the film festival. And I was like, dude, what am I doing in Israel? Like, no, I need to be here. This is the place. So I went back to Israel and I was between LA and Tel Aviv for a year. I would come here for a month, go back for 2 months, come here for a month. Got my O1 visa, moved here. And it's funny because like I always said, oh, I need a challenge. I want to grow, you know. And I didn't know the challenge I was signing up for because it was much more than what I asked for. I moved to LA and I didn't work for 2 years because I couldn't find a job. I had movies that were around the world in festivals. I had a primetime TV show airing in Israel. I had my clients in Israel calling me saying, please come back, we need you. And I was here.
And you were saying no to all of that so that you could starve
so I
in
could
the valley.
Starve in the valley, live with a roommate in a bedroom that was literally the size of my closet. I didn't have room for a queen bed. So I don't remember if it was a twin or a full, but definitely not queen. I had a tiny bed that I got from a friend, and this bed went through a lot. One day it broke. In one point it broke. And I was just staying on the broken bed. And I had a chair and I had a TV. And that's that. I didn't even have a closet. I didn't have anything. Yeah. And I didn't have a car.
For 2 years.
For 2 years. And I didn't have a car. I needed to walk to the grocery store 40 minutes each direction to...
Oh, man, I wish I knew you then. I would have really totally given you a ride.
Thank you.
Wait, what year is this?
So at the beginning, it was 2017.
Okay.
And like the end of 17 to the end of 18, the beginning of 19, I found a job at a startup in the industry, like in the entertainment industry, as a producer and marketing. And then I worked there for several months, and then the structure of the startup changed, so my position wasn't needed anymore. So I I had no job again, and I was producing all kind of dinners and trips and events just to make some money, and that was great. And then COVID hit, and then that wasn't a thing anymore as well. And then for another year, between
Woof.
until until I opened my own production company
You were like,
at the end of
this worked
2020.
once. I'll do that again.
And you know what? It did.
Knowing that there would be a dry spell, that there would be a period of like slow rev up, which by the way, my first year in LA, even with connections, even being a person who grew up a 4-hour flight away from LA, I didn't work for a full calendar year.
Yeah.
Outside of my Urban Outfitters job.
So that's what happened to me at COVID. I didn't have the privilege to work at Urban Outfitter because with an O1 visa, you can only
do the thing that you're
here for. So I lived out of my savings. But you know what happened when I opened my production company?
Tell me.
5 clients called me
Immediately.
and asked me immediately.
Nice.
In 2 months, I made like a salary that could cover not covering a great year, but definitely like what I made at this startup.
Amazing. Amazing.
And since then, like I started getting more and more work. I was reached out by Playtica, and I did multiple commercials for them, multiple different projects. And I was reached by, I did a commercial with Gal Gadot. And
ooh, you two together? That seems like a nice fit.
yeah, we were at the same year of Forbes 30 Under 30. It was me and her. I know.
Good company.
Yes, she's great.
We'll have her on the podcast.
Yeah, so
that kicked you off here. And then you've been writing that. And I know you're working as an independent contractor for some other studios. And is that in addition to having your own production studio? All the work that you do for
Apple?
Are we allowed to say
we
the A word?
we can only say that. But yeah.
Okay.
It's an addition for my production company.
So you did starve. Like you and I
did.
We shared this moment. I remember eating. You didn't starve. I mean, obviously you're here.
No,
but
right.
We had a chapter of like I ate animal crackers for meals. Like that was the meal, was animal crackers. That's what it was. And I now think back and kind of giggle about that. And I've been giggling along with your story. I hope that's not disrespectful, but it's in hindsight that we can say, wow, that was really good for the plot. Wow, that was that moment. And I genuinely have a nostalgia for that period of my life. Dating a guy that worked at a cafe and had no money and had like this. You don't like it.
I don't.
When I think back on it, it felt like I think of it as being like bohemian and artful and rich, and it wasn't. But you don't. You're like, I hated this moment.
I hated it
because it wasn't what you always saw for yourself. It wasn't your fantasy.
It wasn't my fantasy, but more than that. Remember, I came here after succeeding in Israel. I already paid my dues.
Right.
I climbed the mountain. I suffered. And living 2 years with no income out of your savings. I come from a family that cannot support me. If I fell,
increases my heart rate just hearing you say
I
the
don't
words.
I don't have support in that. But there is something. I want to tell you the cookies story.
Cookies.
Remember I told you, I'm not going to tell you.
Oh my God,
now.
yes. I was supposed to. You're a very good producer. Good job. Cookies, go.
The only reason I want to mention this story because I want, if there is someone out there that is listening to us right now and is struggling, I want them to listen to this story and like try to remember it next time you are feeling down. So it was COVID time. And by this point, I was sure it's never going to happen to me. I was never going to make it.
LA is just not a place you're going to make it.
I'm not. I'm just not. And to me, I was like, okay, it's COVID. I have nothing to do in Israel. I'll stay here. I'll go on hikes. No one works anyway. And when it's over, I'll go back. Like that's
okay. You'd resolved that.
I came to terms with the fact that this is not going to happen to me. Ooh. That my Glamour is there behind me. And I literally believe that it's over. And I was really depressed and very sad. And I was sitting in my old apartment that didn't have a couch. So I was sitting on the floor. Luckily, there was carpet, very old carpet, because it was a very old apartment. And I was I was spoiling myself by buying those Israeli cookies called waflot that I don't really necessarily like, and I'm not a big fan of refined sugar. But when I saw it, I decided to buy it because it felt like home and I needed love. And it was like, I don't know, $4 or $5, which back then was crazy to me because I was literally counting the tomatoes that I was buying. But I got it for myself, and I was sitting on the floor and I was crying. I was eating a full package, the entire package. I was sitting there and I was crying and I was eating it. And one of my closest friends called and I answered the phone. And he's like, "How are you?" It's like, "I feel like crap." "What happened?" And I told him. And he starts laughing. And I was like, "Why are you laughing?" Like, I'm telling you, I'm eating.
Excuse me, insensitive.
Full package of waflim right now, right? Like, that's not funny. He's like, no, sorry, let me start again. Why I'm laughing? Because the reason I'm calling you right now is there's this director in New York that reached out to my friend, that reached out to me because she saw we are friends on Facebook, and she wanted to know if I will be willing to connect you because she's doing a short movie and she really, really wants you to produce it. And you are sitting here in your own bubble, crying, eating a full package of cookies. Enjoy it.
Right? Making that mean that you're awful and terrible and this is bad.
Yeah, and thinking.
And meanwhile, at the exact same moment,
there is a woman out there that trying to get in touch with you and want someone to connect you to her. And that made me, of course, I was like, oh, wow. That moment, I did finish the package of cooking, but I stopped crying. And I realized that what's happening in my own little head and world doesn't necessarily true to the world outside. When I'm sitting here crying, eating waflot, there is a woman out there, talented young director, that her mission is now find someone that is close enough with me to introduce us. Mm-hmm. And he did introduce us, and she was lovely. It didn't work out. We didn't work together. But it was for me, I'm still relevant, you know?
The lesson wasn't that. The gift wasn't the gig.
Yeah.
The gift was this lesson.
Exactly. Yeah. It was the lesson of like what's happening in that. Life can change in a heartbeat. Completely. My life changed completely when I took the Apple job, or that when I decided to open my company, or
every time you called that woman at the university.
Exactly. So everything can change in a heartbeat, and whatever happens in your own little brain, in your own little world, doesn't say anything about the world. And all you need to do is just go out there and just,
zoom out,
talk to people, put yourself out there, be open,
Yeah.
So that was a very important lesson for me.
Hugely defining moment. Thank you for sharing that. And also for sharing cookies. You gave me cookies last night and they were delicious. Yeah. And I also ate the whole box of those. I saved a few for Riley. Thank you so much for sharing that story. All of these stories, this is fascinating. I do have a special segment on the podcast that I would love to welcome you into. Okay. Usually it centers around dance, but I love having non-dance guests, which does happen occasionally. The segment is called Wrist Roll With It. And so these are meant to be rapid fire. You have to just roll with it and give me the first answer.
Okay.
Favorite style of dance to watch?
Breakdance.
Nice. Favorite style of dance to dance?
I don't know how to dance. I just move like a crazy person.
Free movement.
Free
movement. Yes. I cannot wait to go out with you. I'm so excited.
Oh my God, me too.
favorite boy band?
NSYNC. I know.
If you had to listen to one album for the rest of your life, what would it be?
It's I don't know the name of the album, but it's an Israeli artist named Hanan Ben-Ari, and his latest album is like making me cry every time.
I would like for you to send that to me.
I will, and he's coming to perform in LA if you want to come with me.
I do want to come with you.
Really good.
Very excited about that.
Good.
Okay, thank you. Love this. See, wrist roll with this is great. Oh, okay. You work in high stakes environments. You have a stressful job. How do you wind down? What's like the perfect wind down? This kind of feels like I'm asking you for like, what's your perfect date? But it's the wind down. How do you come off of a hard day?
Yoga.
With yoga.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hot yoga.
Fondest memory of dance in your life?
Okay. I started a dance party in the middle of the street of Rome.
How many people came to the party?
It was like 50 people. So what happened
That's
was...
a full-out flash mob.
It is.
You know, a lot of organization goes into that shit.
No,
and
there is no organization. What happened was, I love street artists. I just love them. There was one that was really good, and he was performing, and I just started dancing. And my ex-boyfriend was like, okay, I'll dance with you. And we both started dancing, and then people just started joining us. And at the beginning, they were just circling us. But then I was like taking people inside the circle, and then just everyone started dancing. And the day after, we went to a dinner at the other side of Rome, and there were a couple in the table next to us talking to us and looking at us. And we're like, hey, it's like, you're the guy who started the party. We're like, yeah, that was us. People took pictures with us. It was crazy. I will show you videos, and it was so much fun. So that's my best memory.
I love that memory of dance. Feels so good. I can't wait to do this with you someday. You ready for my final question?
Yes.
Okay. I'm excited to hear your answer to this. I would love to know, what are the words that move you the most?
Woo!
Like guiding principle, mantra, poem, story, short, something.
I'll just say words that I love.
Love this. That works, yes.
Gratitude, kindness, community, love, self-love, self-care, nurturing, and Libby.
Good job. Those were so good.
Yeah.
I love those words also. Every one of those, I was like, yes. Rotem.
No, you said it really good
The first time?
Yeah.
Nice. I just need more practice, that's all.
Yeah. No, you're doing better. Okay. You're doing great. You get better every time.
Thank you for these words. Thank you for yourself. Thank you for your name and allowing me to practice it. And thank you all for being here, watching or listening, or both. hopefully both. Get out there into the world, go walk your dog, and keep it really funky.
Bye.
This podcast was produced by me with the help of many. Big love to our executive assistant and editor, Riley Higgins. Our communications manager is Ori Valladares. Our music is by Max Winnie. Logo and brand design by Bree Reitz. Thumbnails and marketing by Fiona Small. You can make your tax-deductible donations to Words That Move Me, thanks to our fiscal sponsor, the Dance Resource Center. And also, many thanks to you. I'm so glad you're here, and if you're digging the pod, please share it, leave a review and rating. And if you want to coach with me and the many marvelous members of the Words That Move Me community, visit wordsthatmoveme.com. If you're simply curious to know more about me and the work I do outside of this podcast, visit thedanawilson.com.